Hello, this is Veer from QNX. I head the engineering professional services based out of Hyderabad. So what I'm trying to show today is how QNX is powering the over 255 million cars, and this is one of the example cases. So what you're seeing here is today I'm sitting in the Mahindra BE, their latest flagship car, where you see a huge display here over. And this display has two components to it. The right side that you see here is driving the cluster and meter, which is the ADAS part of the car, and then the left side that you see here is infotainment, which is based out of the Android. So now you might have been seeing many such instances, but it would be surprising to know that behind the scene everything is driven by operating system called QNX. So now how we are leveraging the competent SoCs these days is one of the classic example. So the SoCs that come up these days with a lots of capabilities to drive several things at once without having to have multiple ECUs within the car. So this is one of the example of consolidating all those different ECUs and then making it to one solution where you have QNX running on one SoC here, which is it could be Qualcomm, it could be MediaTek or any SoC, but point here is to run QNX with a hypervisor enabled operating system where it gives an ability to launch multiple guest operating systems. For example, because QNX is known for the real-time stuff, so we launch QNX plus the hypervisor at the foundational software on top of this hardware, and then have the ability to launch all the mission critical stuff. Like for example, what you see here is you want to zoom in here. So there is different modes that you get in here. For example, the focus is where you get into the drive mode and then get your typical meter displayed with the speedometer and then some of the information that it gets from the sensors. And then you have the drive assist, which is another ADAS feature where you get the features like the lane assistance and indication of the other vehicles coming around your vehicle and all that kind of information, which is again mission critical stuff. And then it gives the ability to also bring up the navigation here, right? And then there are some of the other things that gets all the information from various sensors of the vehicle and then bring you at one place, which is the vehicle analytics. So all of this is pretty much related to the mission critical part of the automobile, which is taken care by your QNX operating system running natively without having to virtualize anything. Now comes the point where you want to leverage still the same hardware and then same QNX operating system running, same instance of QNX operating system, but still get the ability to launch multiple guest operating systems, say for example Android. So now this side of the screen that you see here is fully Android has been brought up on the same instance of QNX running, and taking care of all the mission critical part. So this Android guest is your customized Android guest. Probably Mahindra would have customized it to the likings of their user experience. So you see the pretty much everything that Android brings up here. For example, I go play fun and work related stuff and then bring up a YouTube app here, because it is still in the park mode. I can still run the YouTube apps here, not a problem. So yeah, and YouTube running here, which is running in the Android instance. Android is a virtualized guest operating system running on the QNX, where the same QNX is taking care of the ADAS part here. So that is the point here, is to leverage the single instance of hardware SoCs, which are very competent these days, and then QNX as an operating system vendor brings in the similar set of competencies to be able to launch multiple guests. Like we have Android guest running here, we can have the ability to launch any other guest of your liking, say for example Yocto Linux. If customer has their own Linux Yocto stacks, software stacks they want to bring up and then create a different type of user experience, which is all possible using the same underlying hardware and then underlying QNX operating system. So that's the point. Now let's stop the video. Let's go back to some of the other seamless integration that they have done in this car especially. For example, there is something called park assist that this car facilitates. So there is a button over here. If you press this, I think, yeah, so it changes the display. That brings you a 3D view of how you can really park the car in case you are having a difficulty to park manually. So you set the parameters where in which area the car can go and park by itself, and then hit the P button here probably, and then park in, park out, and 360-degree camera. So they have all these features. So all of these are coming up here on the same screen where I displayed the Android stuff, right? So the Android is non-safety critical, it's infotainment. But then this is again a safety and then mission critical stuff. So the point here is the same screen is being used for both non-safety as well as the safety part, which is a mission critical, seamlessly without any issues, using something called VertIO based extensions that we provide in QNX for the host environment as well as the Android guest. So this is a classic example of those seamless VertIO integration using shared graphics and shared audio and all of those things. Okay, going back to the Android stuff here. So this is your infotainment. You're now back to your infotainment stuff, right? Yeah, so that's the demo where QNX is used very effectively and very efficiently, I would say, to be able to leverage the capabilities that the hardware brings up these days, and then still be able to create that differentiating factor for the users to have the cutting edge technologies and all the latest and greatest features.